everybody, and welcome back to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Darrell.
And I'm very happy, and I'm Brownie.
Oh, well, we have a very special guest on today who already started off with a wardrobe malfunction. So
That's how it goes.
that's how it goes. So
What exactly happened? All I heard was my shoe.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I have these Hobbit feet. You'd think they'd stay on, but they just gone with the wind. So
Oh my goodness.
what are we gonna do?
all right, well, okay, hey, is chat working?
Hi,
Nice.
Gwen. How's it going?
Chris.
Wait,
Oh,
I was gonna say,
we're
Chris,
professional,
it's-
Chris.
Phone's on silent, Chris.
Yeah.
I
Like,
thought that me
oh my
putting it on
gosh.
silent would mute that.
Here's what's exciting. Darrell is here, and from my point of view, I have seen Darrell work on his special item he brought with him today for the past couple years at least. So, Darrell, say a little bit about yourself, talk about your game, and just we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Darrell Davey, I've been working on a board game called All Hallows Eve for several years now, as you've mentioned, and I've put out little things here or there. But this year, I finally had it far enough along to where in the Halloween season, I'm able to bring it out, especially in 2020. We need to really liven things up. So I have a beta box here of All Hallows Eve, and it's a trick-or-treat-based horror game. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Solid.
So, towards is it going to be on the same stream, Chris, or a new one? We're going to try to set up a table. And
So what we'll do is we'll talk about it, and then we'll just do some other stuff or whatever. And then as we're winding down, we're gonna give basically like a 5-minute warning. We're gonna cut the stream and then start a new one.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we gotta reset sort of like the
Reset the
tabletop
space.
to really show off all
all that
glory.
juicy goodness.
Yeah,
All the
exactly.
glory. Well, I can't wait to get to that point. But it's awesome to have you on. I have known you for a long time, and then Kara, how do you know?
Was it youth group
I was gonna
as
say
well?
probably through youth group.
Yeah.
And
Through
then-
Mimi and Isaac and
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So both of us actually have known Darrell, and when we found out his game was coming out, we thought, oh, it'd be awesome to be able to have him on here and talk about it. So,
Actually, I'll pause just for a sec. Hello, Jarrett and Gabe.
oh
Welcome to the
yay!
stream.
Gabe is one of our number one fans. Awesome,
Ooh.
awesome person. So,
well, you're talking trash about it before.
yeah.
You're not supposed to say those
Don't
things. Oh my
ostracize
gosh.
our-
Live. Okay, my bad.
He's like the all-seeing guy from Star
Yeah,
Wars:
right,
The Force
right.
of Evil.
Oh, that's so funny. But that's awesome. So we have an awesome live audience here. But okay, so you started. When do you remember when you started on it? We said yours, but
Boy, I don't want to put an exact date on it because that makes me feel like I've been doing this for like
Right,
way too long. I want to say about 2017
Okay.
is when I had initially started. I had at the time had several pieces of things that I've done. I was working at that time on a game called working prize called Skirmish. It's kind of like a chessy type game, not hyper complicated, but just a fun rules light because everything I had tried in the past either got complex or was just too much to really start pushing forward. And I had these little bits and pieces through the ethos. And one day I woke up and it's like that, like Don't Wake Daddy game where he just like shoots out of bed.
yes.
I don't know if I was even a dad at that. Yes, I was actually. My girls were around. So yes, it was a Don't Wake Daddy moment where I woke up and I was like, if I do this and I have that and I can have Halloween and it's just going to be perfect. And it just happened to work out where all these little pieces from these other games welded themselves together in my dreams somehow. And I will say about 85% of what originally I had jotted down came to be in this game still.
Cool.
For the core found of it. So I'm excited to see how far it's come in those regards, but also, a little narcissistically proud of myself for
that's all right.
how some of those base things really stuck with it. So
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is so. We do Lego videos and we have the channel and starting something and continuously working at it. It's hard to keep up and not like throw in the towel. Chris and I have had what direction we want to go. What do we want to keep working on, and we make changes constantly, but we're still going hard at it. So it's really cool you've got all these other ideas and to be able to culminate them into one thing is really cool. I've heard we had Gwen on a week or two ago.
Yep.
And Gwen has her channel Stuff Lab, and I heard you brought it there first. And
Yeah.
you got to do some things there, so that's really exciting. So I can't wait. Chris and I both held off with learning about it.
Yeah, we
wanted-
decided
Oh.
we wanted a fresh experience.
The will is strong with
It
you.
is.
Man,
Oh my goodness.
I'm proud of both of you.
Yeah, so I'm excited. And then we're both
I did ask Gwen what she rated it out of 10. Just like, I was like, give me your honest opinion. And I
If it's not 13 out of 10
oh,
for the joke.
well, you're just, she said that it was a freaking awesome game.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
So, and that was without the
Hey.
pressure of anybody around to be able to hear outside of me. So,
Ah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Well,
That's-
I thank you for that. It's a great rating. I'll dig that.
so okay, so you had some prototypes. You have a prototype there,
Yep.
and you have made a limited amount of prototypes. Are those all gone?
Yes, they're
They're all sold.
They're all sold out. So I was doing a run of 20.
Okay.
And really where it's at is it's aesthetics. It's bells and whistles that to make it shelf ready. Other than that, it's a fully formed game at this point. I have Jeffrey working on my 3D art right now. I've got some stand-ins for the monsters. I did all the trick-or-treaters myself. I did the art. I had a buddy revamp up my tiles and stuff. So it's solid. I work out of my workshop in the basement and do the printing and the figures. Just yesterday, I was working away, laminating my brains out, going through 150 tiles, getting those laminated. My wife is a very patient girl when it comes to like, oh boy, the yard's looking kind of rough, bud. But, you keep playing your game down there. So, but yeah, those all went. And I'm a bit pressed for time to be honest. Sean Zarn, the guy who had bought my very first one, was the guy who could do it this year.
Right.
You know, stop messing around, just finally plug it in. We need something this Halloween.
Right.
So to be able to bring that to people, even if it's not where I had wanted to be, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's all handmade at this point where you're getting a cool, still a really cool piece of game and part of the game history if this does progress farther than this. But
Can you imagine
So-
having like a beta copy of Monopoly or something like that?
Right?
Absolutely.
That's what I like. I wish this is just my thought. It's like I wish I had copy 13 of 20 of the first run.
oh,
That would be the choice copy to have.
and I am trying to find a way of how to send these out, and I don't know if I don't want to pick my favorites, you know,
Yeah.
and send, you know, like, oh, I liked you the best, so you get
Right.
copy 13. So I might number them, and then you know, just seal it up,
Right.
ship it out, and then whoever gets lucky number 13, you're really the, you know, you might want 1 or you might want 20, but 13's really,
That's what I
That's
think.
the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's the choice.
yeah.
But you had to send them out on a Friday the 13th.
Oh, jeez. By that point, they wouldn't reach to anybody with the postal system being
Right.
how
Oh
it is
gosh,
these days.
yeah.
That's true.
It'd be
That's true.
Christmas time.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern. Is I've had people. There's one guy out in Beijing, Mark B, friend of mine from college, and we're working on that. We're gonna see if that makes it or not. But we have Arizona. Oh, is that me?
Is that you?
That shouldn't be. It is. So,
Shame.
and I shut it off. So that's my Svengoolie alarm. So that's what I'm missing to be here. Tonight is The Blob, which is one of my
Oh.
absolute favorite horror flicks. So you're all welcome. The sacrifices I have to make for you.
Oh, we thank
no.
you.
Yes. I know.
Gwen said she got the best one. She got the signed beta copy.
Yep, she did. She got and
Nice.
she's got one of 2 sets of the So now we're going to work into the semantics. The demo cards because I was
Oh.
supposed to go to. This might be the first time I talk about on live. DeluCon. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
invited
yeah,
out there by a
DeluCon.
couple different folks. Contacted me to come and try
Yeah.
and do that, and they're still I think working on some stuff. So I don't want to speak for them and say what's going on.
Well,
but,
We're part of it.
oh,
We help plan it.
well
Try to
then.
talk to Phil, Amy,
all
Mimi,
good.
Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we're on the
So-
Duo Council.
Yeah.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
you are very well aware. So Now I feel silly. I should have known that.
That's
Okay.
okay.
It's all good.
Everybody
don't
says,
know
"Oh,
who
we'll
we
talk
are."
to them." You are the
Right.
them. Then I now realize.
It's all good. I feel like nobody actually knows
Well,
who's behind.
No, you're the
conventions.
puppet masters. Yeah, you're pulling the
Exactly.
strings behind.
Right? Everybody
That's
sees what
I'm-
happens, but not who's doing it.
What I consistently say is when it comes to doing creative stuff in this area, it's a very small world.
It
Like
actually
once you
is
get into it, it's
easy.
like, oh, you do that? Oh, that's
Right.
you. And it's just like the same 30 people in charge of doing everything creative in the area.
yeah.
Right.
It's insane. It's absolutely crazy.
So-
So, are you going to be able to release a copy to the public? Would you have any time
Well,
frame on that?
that's the hope. As of right now, I want to get these out. See if people think like whoever's getting these are really my final testers.
Yeah.
In my
Okay.
mind, where they, any weird thing that comes up, I can check on, and I'll have a little bit of time. I'm hoping to get the word out. Maybe some to go through somebody. You know, I've
Right.
shopped it around a little bit here or there. You know, people have said Kickstarter and this and that. It's difficult at this point to where. What do you sacrifice? Do you
Right.
sacrifice your creative power over it? Like, do you hand your baby off to somebody? Because
Right.
the last thing I want this to become is Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers, some branded thing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Or do I just continue to work through my house,
Right.
and whenever I have a little bit of extra income, and kind of be able to push something out and do what I'm doing now, which is almost a low form of Kickstarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it's just all in my workshop. I know this is the time I have. I can make this much.
Right.
You know, if you're able to prepay me beforehand, you'll get this by this time, and it keeps it personal, which I think is big.
Right.
You know, but that's not to say I wouldn't hope to get with somebody so I can get this much bigger. There's a couple
Right.
of places here and there that I may make copies for, and they'll sell it out. There's a few in River Falls and
Okay.
out and about. So perhaps I'll just do local business workshop stuff.
If
Yes.
I recall correctly, in Superior, there's a place, like a board game place that has like released a couple of decent titles that you might want to get a hold of.
I will check that out. I know there was a few that I had talked to, and then something big in the world happened. I can't remember quite what it
exactly
is.
that it
Yeah.
was.
But yeah, something happened where a lot of the correspondence I was having.
It was the
dropped.
Wide Putin meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you will.
Shut the world down.
Something. God, it's at the tip of my tongue, you know? It's weird.
Do you have any like contact info you want to give out to somebody if they wanted to get a hold of you about it?
I mean, currently, right now, it is as personal as it gets. Darrell Davey, you can find me on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm hoping to do a webpage eventually. Again, once I'm done with this run, that's when I'm going to start going. Because, like I said, I wasn't anticipating giving it out at this point.
Right. Absolutely.
So I hadn't gotten to like the marketing end of things, but right now, Darrell Davey, so Darrell, Davey, Davey, on Facebook. I'll try to throw my Mischief character back up as my profile picture again.
Perfect.
So anybody who wants some of that information, you can just contact me directly on there.
yeah.
Anybody who's watching not live, we'll have links in the description. You can click on that. You can go ahead and reach out to them.
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Or
Perfect.
Chris, you can also write us at contact.
Oh, we're doing that.
Rise of the
now.
podcast,
Oh.
and that
Please
will
send Jeremy mail. He's getting
please send
sad
Jeremy,
again.
and I will forward you Darrell's information as well. We have a cool little graphic that comes up if it. There we
There's a
go.
little nice little
I
lower
the
third.
button doesn't work half the time.
Hey, if you got a lower third, use it, right?
Yeah, right. So that's pretty fun. So all right. Here's what we've learned. We'll just shoot the breeze. We tell a lot of stories here.
Sure.
And Chris and I, we will dial down the effort on the production and make sure the quality is all the way there. We will work.
That's what you
hard.
walked in on today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will work really hard on stuff, and the one thing that has been helping us out a lot when you get to the point you can handle that is promotion.
Yeah.
And so everything I've learned about it is the amount of work you put into the thing that you're working on, you have to put that same amount of work into promotion. And it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really tough.
The
So-
thing that I always have to remember is like McDonald's and Walmart and Nike and Starbucks, the biggest brands in the world,
Starbucks.
still advertise. Right?
I've
It's like
learned
they-
about major stuff that's going on just purely from advertisements.
so it's
New
like,
movies that are coming, everything.
Yeah, like who are we to think that it's like, oh, we shouldn't advertise? It's like if McDonald's has to advertise to sell a hamburger, we should probably put a couple ads out.
I had, and maybe this will spoil some fun, but I had an idea originally of how I wanted to stir up a little motion around this where I was going to cast coins with the logo on them.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh.
And leave them throughout tip jars and leave them in just random places.
Oh, dude.
So, and it'd be, numbered, 1 of 113 or what have you. And not say anything. All it would be is this weird,
Right.
Logo or, this
a little guerrilla
horror
marketing
symbol.
campaign.
Yeah. And they, like, oh, I found this in here. And then other people might start talking about it and then just set up a stand outside, like we're like right next to the vegetable girls or whatever. Just with this Kabbalistic symbol above me. And I'm like, I've got that coin. That little man there has this. Yeah. And just get a little bit of town myth. Like, what's this? I found this coin too. This is weird. What does it mean? So I thought about releasing it into the wild, but again, just with the way things went, did not go that route. But I might still do something like that. So
absolutely. That's really cool. If you ever want to learn about using like Google to do any ads and stuff like that, we have I have learned a ton over the course of the past year and a half.
Yeah.
We really dialed it down. But I have a funny story about it.
I'm going to pause you real quick. Gwen says you're bringing back the Pog.
And that's why I laughed at. I was like,
You're just handing out free slammers at this point.
Right.
Oh, right, yeah. Hey, if I become responsible for bringing the pod craze back, man, that's the real win. I can just throw this
Right?
away.
Seriously,
This has
pods
all
need to
been a
come back.
scheme to get pods back. Yeah.
That's the longest con there.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
here's our funny ad story. So there's so on YouTube, Facebook promotion's really easy. It's really easy to run promotions through Facebook. But YouTube's a little trickier because you have to use Google Ads, and then you can make your video appear in like Google search results or YouTube search results, or you can do placements on specific channels. And dialing all that down, it's been really like learning that's been tricky. Now that I know it's really simple once you start to learn it. But we found like what's really effective is to find content similar to ours and only run our ads for the Lego channel on just that content. Because then that way people who watch that stuff, you already know enough about them that they might like.
It takes care of your demographics for you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's literally the people that you want to watch and are already going there to watch similar content.
Yeah. So
this funny story is a funny story. So we're like, all right, I talked to Chris. It's like, let's do a couple dollars a video and we'll just start promoting, right? And so the typical one we do is just a little display ad in the corner, and it just suggests our thumbnail on these channels that we picked, and then that's it, right? So one of them, I got an email from this company, and they're like, hey, here's a really good tip. You can do the pre-roll ad. So when you go to a YouTube video and you see the little pre-roll ad, you can do one of those, and it's like the same cost. If they skip it, you don't have to pay at all. The impression's free. If they watch, you don't pay until they watch 30 seconds or click to see more about you. And when they click, they go to your channel. So I picked a video and I just sent it. So I was like, all right, we're going to use this video. We'll just let it play. If people like what they see, they're good to go. If they don't, they skip the ad. It's no cost to us. Free impressions. It's perfect, right? So it took like a day and a half. And last night at like 11 o'clock, we got an email. Kara got an email. She's like, your ad disapproved? And so I went and read her email. And
you should pull it up because the exact verbiage is the hilarious
it's
part.
funny.
All right. It's very aggressive.
Oh.
As we say, it's like the top of my okay.
So it says Google Ads Policy Manager. You have a disapproved ad. Warning, video campaign 11 blah 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 has been disapproved due to violating our policy for sensitive events. So please check our list of sensitive events. So I clicked it, and scrolling through, you want me to read the...
Yeah, what are the different sensitive events that we might have triggered?
So, list here. It's inappropriate, dangerous, or derogatory.
Everybody knows we're so inappropriate talking about those butts.
Yeah.
Animal cruelty, hacked political material, or new as a temporary sensitive event is COVID. Google is monitoring the impact of the coronavirus and COVID situation and are taking the necessary steps to maintain a safe advertising ecosystem. So I called Chris and I was like, dude, Kylo Ren's build got flagged as being sensitive. It's us putting together Legos. That build, we built it way back in March.
Yep.
When it was, people were,
that was like the main lockdown is probably going to happen.
When I tried my live event at Legacy Toys, so the mall was just crickets. I was like, cool beans. Neat.
So
anyway,
thanks fate.
Yeah.
Right.
So Kara and I almost broke a piece or something, and all I simply said was, "Oh man, if we didn't have this piece and it broke, we'd have to go out in COVID and get another one." That's literally all we said. And Google they completely
clipped it.
And so I'm thinking what happened is that like a bot scans all the audio, turns it into text, and then they just have a nope. Can't have that text word out there. They don't care if it's true, false, indifferent.
Yeah,
but
so-
it's completely out of context. Like, I'm not trying to say COVID is real or fake or anything like that.
Oh.
All I was doing was like, man, we'd have to go out and brave COVID to get another set.
Yeah,
That was
well,
it.
yeah, because
Yeah.
there's another build that we did that it still hasn't come out yet from January,
That's right.
where and it's in the channel trailer and stuff, so you can see this moment where we give Jeremy some Duplos after he makes a mistake on the build.
Best thing ever.
It's pretty hilarious. So in the video that we tried running as an ad, he's referencing that. He's like, you guys are gonna have to go and brave COVID to get me more Duplos.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
So and that's literally so like we're referencing a video that hasn't come out yet that we recorded 9 months ago.
Jeez.
At the very beginning of the thing, and it's just like how insane of a
Right.
combination of things had to happen for that to happen.
For you
It's
to
like,
get flagged by
yeah,
that.
Right.
well, because
Yeah.
Jeremy's reading me this, and I was like, "What on earth do they think that we did?" And then I was just like running through. It's like it has to be one of the cutaways. Obviously, the time lapse part itself isn't violating anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, "What did they say?" And it's like, "Oh, he probably when he says we have to do the whole Duplo thing." And it's like, "Oh my goodness."
Unless Google Ads
Wow.
just hates Duplo.
Oh, Gabe says let's
Hey.
stop saying the C word because they might shut our stream down.
That's a good point. I was starting to sweat over here. I was like, oh boy, someone's gonna bring up Harambe, and we're out. Like, that's two. You guys are done.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
guys are just going to reference it as Rona.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Da,
Rona.
da Rona.
VidCon 19.
Whoa, you
Funny,
bet.
funny. So,
Oh man.
a little. So, also, I heard you talking about too. So, you used to do video stuff.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah.
Sorry.
Digging up the past.
Gwen said dub it over with Walmart.
We'll have to go to Walmart to get more stuff. Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and then pretty soon they're going to be talking about Starbucks. Yeah. And then everyone laughs and laughs. So I used to do some film work. I worked out of Hudson for a while, did some sound and light tech out of Woodbury, various events with some of my buddies, filmed some stuff with my buddy Ben Veneer, weddings and whatnot.
fun,
and
yeah.
just all sorts of different things. I didn't do a lot of for fun filming after college. I had originally gone to, gonna plug River Falls, to revitalize the horror industry.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
that time, we were coming out of the aughts, and it was just sucky for horror movies. It was just abysmal. There was a few good ones, like you get like Pontypool or Leslie Vernon Behind the Mask, like some real golden, like lower budget ones, but any of the big ones were just garbage. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna catch the essence of like the 50s drive-in or
Absolutely.
anything like that. And a friend of mine, Michael Norman Gale, he does a lot of really like campy sci-fi and horror ones. He's been doing that for quite some time. And so I'm like, okay, he's doing that, and like it'll be good. And then just life sidetracked you. You get a normal gig.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I went with everyone was getting a camera, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get an editing computer, so then I don't have to be at the editing bay. Then my friends can send me their videos, so I can edit. It'll be this
Yeah.
nice little thing, and everyone's like, we're gonna be a team forever. And then like as we did that, we all went away. So I'd pop around and do that, but it's kind of single man's life, where in the cities I had twins, and they're a handful, literally, and I just didn't feel good being like, oh yeah, this film's gonna go scheduled till 6,
Right.
Hour pickup. It's never
Right.
never that. If it says it's an 8-hour event, it's a 12-hour event.
Right.
Easily. And there was one I had gone and filmed some maple syrup making with this group of guys, and out of cell phone connection, we're middle of the woods, and we're actually going to stay for a lot longer than we anticipated. I'm like, I got one pair of underwear and a wife that doesn't know. Like, gone.
You are not prepared for this.
No, you can
Oh
only
my
turn those things
gosh.
inside out so many times. So that was kind of that point where I was like, slowly back down. And I do things here and there. I've been helping with the local theater department,
fun.
high school,
That's
musicals and stuff. I was going to direct this year, and then again, I just can't remember.
Man,
Walmart.
Walmart, yeah.
With Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart
Dang
happened
Walmart.
suddenly.
Killing the arts.
Yeah. Got him. anything to keep the little guy down, you know.
Right.
Exactly.
So, and I, having moved back, it's opened stuff up. The job I currently have, I have the schedule of a high school student, which is legit. I used to get snow days. I used to get nights and weekends off. So that's where a lot of my extra time came in, to
Right.
where I could start working on this again, or working on some more passion projects. So, but really, most all of that has been set aside for the last few years for this.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because I do really, really enjoy the aspect of creating these sort of things. So
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
super cool. Yeah, no, that was a fun thing that we could totally relate to, because I've worked on video projects with Chris all the way back from high school, on and off again over the years, helped him with a couple projects while he was in college. But you gave me some PTSD for a second when you talked about maple syrup, 'cause he made me do a shoot with honey. It was a nightmare.
Honey crackers.
Yep, that's a classic video.
Oh, man.
It's
Yeah, I had
super
to,
funny.
If you find that on the internet, good luck.
it's out there. What's the SEO optimization for honey crackers
Pretty
on
much
YouTube?
0. I'm pretty sure.
Here's the thing. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to post it to Rise of the Podcast.
You are so funny, Karen.
And everybody's going to see honey crackers, and Jeremy just take a jar of honey and just go all over his face, because it's hilarious.
Oh man, it's a parody of infomercials.
yeah.
And so the problem that you have is always so extreme. Like if you're selling a vacuum, normally it would show in an infomercial somebody's using their
But
vacuum.
then you
and
actually suck up your cat.
I was gonna say, and you accidentally suck up your cat.
Yes!
I was gonna
yes!
say that. Yes.
I'm glad I was here for that.
Because
That
I
was
was trying to think of an
beautiful.
extreme example that would just like crush your day. Be like, oh, I gotta get a new vacuum.
Man, I need
Sucked
to
up
find
Garfield
that vacuum
again.
and suck up Simba. Just-
The tail sticking out. But I don't know if you'd be able to suck up Toby, Chris.
No,
No.
well, I mean, he's pretty much vacuum proof.
He's pretty much a dog. I mean, he's the size of a small dog.
Gabe, you better not.
What?
Nothing. He didn't say anything.
Gabe,
I-
I'll find it and I'll send it to you, Gabe.
I watched it like 3 days ago. It's not that bad.
No, it's just
My
it's-
favorite part's the tag at the end of the film when he does.
Oh
was
yeah,
gonna
I
say-
love that. Please come and subscribe.
Please comment.
I
and
might find
subscribe.
other videos that Gabe can post to.
No, how
The
about
Latin-
not? I'm going to send you to Puerto Rico, Kara.
Dudes, I will go to Puerto Rico. Like, I know winter's coming.
Yeah,
I will go
that's
to
actually a
Puerto
fair
Rico.
There was
But-
one shoot I was doing. We were doing one of those Doritos Super Bowl commercials. I don't know if you guys ever tried your hand at that.
I've done
I
one.
helped out
Yeah.
a friend do that.
Yeah,
I got sucked up by aliens
Oh,
because they wanted my Doritos.
Oh, we talking about weird things though, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was one of those moments where I'm wondering, how did I get here? Like someone cut to me and it's like, let me explain. I am on a child's potty with my swim trunks on, with another man pouring lukewarm water on me slowly as I'm rubbing my face, and Cheetos or Doritos are being poured down, and I had to be in the potty so I could get in the shot. And it was supposed to be this guy like drooling on me, because every time I opened the Doritos bag, he would drool, and that's how I was paying the water bill for the month, because
Oh
he
my
didn't
goodness.
pay. But it was like one of those things where I'm like, oh, this is all fun, and then like I just saw myself from the outside.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm getting filmed in a shower with just like standing on this potty. It was just the strangest little bit of events. Like no one knows that on the film side. Like they see
No.
the shot, they're like, okay, whatever, it's fine. But the things you have to do
Yeah.
to get these shots are insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, did Gwen just post honey crackers?
No, she didn't. Don't click on any links that you see from anybody in the
Everybody go
chat.
into chat right now and click on that link.
anyways, all right.
You're
all
taking
right.
away views.
So, no, I just wanted to talk about
Sorry,
that. Like, so yeah, I'm in the military, and I got to watch the Coast Guard do a cool exercise and lift a guy out of the water with a helicopter and all this crazy stuff. In the background, I was like, if only these guys knew that I put Legos together on the side. Like,
They think you were sweet.
I play with
Like,
plastic bricks. I have an existential like crisis about it. It's
If
like,
you're ever
what am I
found
doing?
out,
Yeah, what am I doing with my life? It's like,
We are
oh,
having
man.
fun. We are living our
No,
best
so one of the
life.
guys just told a story about how he rescued somebody out of 40-foot waves.
Yeah.
And I was like, man,
That's so cool.
Okay,
yeah.
here's the
And
thing.
you walked in, and I'm just dumping Legos on a table. But it's
Here's the
gonna
thing,
be
though.
cool.
If you were rescuing people from 40-foot waves, and you in a dangerous situation, wouldn't you want to go home, just whip some Legos together, and just relax?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Legos
Yeah.
are
Just
awesome.
saying. I
Not
mean,
gonna lie.
I mean, I have the most dangerous job of all of us here, and I definitely like relaxing with Legos. It's not dangerous at all. I make TV commercials.
But
I basically just do more of this. So.
I just thought it was fun because it was like what happened here is like the slider there, I bought that 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's probably close
the
to
camera I
making
bought in
old.
2011. Chris has amassed stuff. It's like we've just
It's
a
an
little
accumulation over a lifetime. Almost.
Exactly. And so it's funny that we amassed it into this, but we were doing a Lego build one day, and
Gwen says everyone needs a safe hobby to offset the potential of death.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming for us all. Don't worry.
but yeah, we were shooting a Lego build one day, and Chris priced it out, and he's like, "We're spending X amount of dollars to film a Lego shoot." It was just really funny.
Like if for some reason somebody just wanted, they started with nothing, and they're like, we want to shoot the exact same thing that you just did.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of money that they have to spend would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like you talk about like overkill or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like you could not get more overkill than what we're doing.
Seriously?
We overproduce the heck out of our content.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
Well, that's good, though. It
it's-
shows dedication and effort
it's-
to the cause.
It's
yeah.
fun. I'm glad you get to come down here and see it.
This is gnarly. Yeah,
Yeah, isn't that
I'm
cool?
really excited to be in studio. This
Yeah,
is really awesome.
It's fun to have a creative space that's away from your house.
Jim
Yeah.
said that his creative hobby to stave off the potential of death is necromancy.
Oh, there you-
Hashtag death ain't got me down.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Jim.
You know Jim Mallory?
Mallory, James.
James Mallory?
Yeah. Okay. Then yes.
So, okay. I think they're around the same age
Yeah.
level thing, so.
Why are you doing this when you say age? Is
Well,
that you
well,
wanna fight?
because I'm the oldest person here, and then I'm just like filtering back and forth between the ages of people.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't really see me, so I just need to do something so you know that I'm back here.
Well, and speaking of like the appearance, like I get that dread of like, what am I doing? Like this isn't a normal job. This isn't something that
Right.
somebody like just does. I'm like in my basement, like, oh, I'm gonna put my milli putt together and it's time to slice some more stuff through the printer so someone can play a board game. And I'm like, every once in a while, I just have this breakdown of like, what do I think I'm doing? Like, wouldn't taxes be cool? Like, couldn't I do something good? But like, it is like this to me. The Legos.
Yeah.
You're bringing stuff to people who they either need a break or they need to be shown it's okay to relax and be you
Absolutely.
and be youthful. And that's coming from a 5'2" individual. Like, I'm mistaken for a child so often that like. I just accepted my fate, and I'm like, I'm in the toy store, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna go down the toy aisle. No one's gonna. If I shave, nobody knows. It's fine.
So talking about bringing things back, somebody brought a hacky sack to work like 2 weeks ago. We have been playing so much hacky sack in our downtime. It's unbelievable. It's fun.
Well, what do they call it now, Jeremy?
Well, foot bag, but
What?
Yep. It is now called foot bag.
Oh,
Not hacky sack, foot bag.
and if you do a stall, that's a hack.
shut up.
I'm not kidding.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
what- if
As if
somebody were
this
to-
year couldn't get any worse.
Yeah, right.
You find out that they renamed our childhood game as
Well,
foot bag.
you know what it reminds me of? So I, speaking of doing like live stream stuff, the platform that this stream is built on, I initially had constructed for doing hockey games for a local high school,
Sure.
and I was watching them do one, and I always prayed for not overtime because I just wanted to get out of it.
Basketball. I hated filming.
Oh.
Okay, go on. Sorry. Yeah.
So we end up getting an overtime game. I'm like, dang it, right? And then the guy makes the announcement, like, we're going to move into, and I'm waiting for the words, sudden death. No, it's now sudden victory overtime.
Dumb.
Oh my gosh.
We've talked about this. I told you how angry I was that it can't be.
Were you there? Or was
You'd called me and told me.
it was,
and I
or was something like we were supposed to come and meet to do the podcast on
Yeah.
a Friday or something. I got held up an hour from sudden victory overtime.
That's stupid.
it's
Sounds
unbelievable.
lame.
That's-
Sudden death, yo.
Yeah, well, yeah,
rotten.
'cause there's no sudden victory.
Right.
It sounds like you're like, oops, I won.
Yeah.
Right? Seriously.
It doesn't sound like something you tried to do.
Yeah, you didn't like spinal rip somebody. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. But you know,
Finish
oh man,
The things that they change. If they were to rename, so we were talking about Pogs earlier.
yeah,
If they were to rename Pogs, what do you think they would call them nowadays? Cardboard?
slappies.
Slappy
The
discs.
slappies.
No,
Slappy
that's too
discs?
violent though.
That's true. That is
They'd
far
have to
too
call them
violent.
like flippy discs.
Flippy
Hug-
discs?
Disc hug.
Disc hug.
Yeah,
Oh my
you
God.
use a hugger and then you hug the discs
Oh my gosh.
and try to wrangle them.
Man, if they rename Pogs to anything else, I'm just that'll no.
Fortnite Frisbees.
Fortnite.
Just to get that brand name in there.
Out of the blue, somebody on Xbox Live messaged me that I haven't played with since 2005, but he's still been on my friends list to play Fortnite. And I don't play Fortnite. I play PUBG if I have to play a battle royale game.
Yeah.
Although I really want to try Fall Guys, but I haven't tried that.
Fall
yet.
Guys looks fun.
My
It does look fun.
boss, like, speaking of relating to kids, 'cause I work with children, and I run like all sorts of different games, index card RPG style. We call it Realm Guard and whatnot. So like
Cool.
using those like role playing games to help these kids build social skills and stuff. And she's like, "Hey, we need to like the kids are talking," and she said the Fortnite.
Oh my
She's like, the kids are
gosh.
talking about the Fortnite, and we need to have someone who kind of like knows it, relates it. At the only time, I was the only like young male there, and so an actual job assignment for my boss was to go play some Fortnite. And I'm not like a big video
How
game guy,
terrible.
and I was like, my wife's just struggling with the kids. I'm like, honey, this is work. Like my boss told me I had to come home and do this.
Oh my gosh.
And
I
pwn
wish.
these noobs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it was. So I played Fortnite for a hot second.
Did you
That's
like it? Did you
something.
enjoy it?
I'm more of a if it is anything. I like to Overwatch.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge video game guy. I like to be with people. I played a bit. If I do, it's a solo game. Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon is probably the thing I get most competitive
yeah,
for.
absolutely.
Got some Digimon games, mean like 3 other people, because
Right.
got to keep it alive. The card game finally got the English announcement yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so anybody who's excited in that, hit me up. I need friends to play Digimon with.
That's
That's
awesome.
Darrell Davey on Facebook.
Darrell Davey on Facebook, desperate.
Desperate for friends.
Yeah.
Darrell Davey.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
yeah, and they promise it's super hot in Japan right now, and they have promised it's not the same crappy one that came to America eons ago. So we have a legitimate game now, which
Cool.
is so choice.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
sorry.
games, Gabe says Fall Guys will make you have a love-hate relationship with a side of rage quit.
Does Gabe? You play Fall Guys?
He
Gabe?
literally plays everything.
Dude,
I'm
well,
jealous.
PC or PS4? He's got to be PC, I guess.
If he's PS4, I'd be surprised. As he
I would
Because
Well,
he's got an
Xbox.
Xbox. He's on my
Xbox,
friend
yeah.
on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Jim had mentioned in the chat a little bit earlier a game that he and I were working on. Speaking of creating games, with a whole just like briefly, it's not nearly as far along as yours, but it's a card-based game where you're a blacksmith and you're trying to create the best weapon possible.
I remember seeing some prototype photos he put up when
Yep.
I was doing that really, really early. He had like this spread across his table of things. So
Yep.
yes,
yeah,
I
he and I
do-
were working on that.
Awesome. How has that been coming along for you guys?
Intermittent, basically.
And
like,
that's what's taken this so long,
so-
as it is. It's a process. You
But
gotta-
like the core mechanics that we think are sort of worked out, and we've done like very, very, very light sort of play testing, but not even to the point where it's like we played a full game even. But,
okay. Hey though,
Um,
I mean that's still better than nothing though. You're
yeah,
going somewhere
We're
with it.
slightly further along than people who've never done it before, so we can say that.
You put more thought into maybe if I just roll these dice and move something. That's a board game.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
or
true.
a card game.
Yeah, so we got to step 2.
Yeah. Step 4 is profit. So
You're close, Chris.
We're halfway there.
Yeah.
You're halfway there. As just a quick, so you like board games,
Yeah.
right? That's your thing. So Kara's cousin, every holiday that we get to be around him, he always shows us a new game or gives us a game as a gift. So some of the games he's introduced us to is because I'm not a huge board gamer. I love them. I just don't know a lot to Dominion.
awesome. Okay.
Love Dominion.
Yes.
King Domino, which was really fun. If you haven't tried that one,
I have not tried
that
that
you
one.
need
King
to try
Domino's
that
one.
one.
King Domino's
that
a good
one's
one? Okay.
awesome. Have you heard of Hanabi?
Hanabi.
Yeah. Yes.
That one's really fun.
Yeah.
Firework game. That
What's
one's
another
cool.
one that David has introduced us to that we loved?
Oh gosh, I feel like there's been so many, and I can't think of them all.
Well, I need to take a second to talk about King Domino. So really quickly, you have a 5x5 grid, which makes 25 spaces.
Sure.
You deal
Math.
out, there's kingdom tiles, and there's a king in the center, so you actually only have 24 spaces to play with. But you have a little stack of these tiles. They're all face down, and each one has a number on the back. And the number is kind of like the weight. And if you have 4 people, you deal out 4 tiles face down. And then if you pick, you take your little guy, and you flip everyone over, and then whoever goes first, once that's decided for the first round, you put your little guy out there, and then that's the tile you get. And what you do is there's 3 or 4 different types of terrain. There's plain, water, woods, and
There's like
swamp, I think. And there's like a mine
cave.
terrain
There's a mining one too.
And so some pieces have a crown on them.
Okay.
And so what you do is you can only put the dominoes so that the matching terrain is there. The kingdom is wild. So that establishes that some are mixed tiles. And what you try to do is you try to expand your like terrain so that you get as much terrain as you can touching.
Sure.
And the most crowns you can in that terrain. And the crowns act as a multiplier. So if you get 8 plain fields and 3 crowns, it's 24 points. And you get a little 5x5 grid to do it. So then better pieces, the ones with the more crowns,
yeah.
when they're face down, that weighted number, those go towards the end. So if you want that tile and you go first and you put it, you pick 4th next time. So if you take a good tile, you pick later on. If you pick a like non-crown tile, you get to keep going first. And so their strategy there, it's really, really fun and it's very affordable. Target, I think, even sells it.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
So,
Target has it. Oh, it's games.
Legacy Toys, otherwise I would almost
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
have it.
So anyways,
They're
all that
awesome,
being
by
said,
the way.
I had somewhere where I was going. Do you have any games you recommend? Like your favorite games that's not All Hallows Eve?
Yeah, well,
Just curious, because
only All Hallows. There can only be one. Yes. So first and foremost, the game that like really started, and I can blab on about this later, but Zombies by Twilight Creation was like what hit me into board games when I was younger. Where it dawned on me that it could be more than Uno, Monopoly. And I would say like there's a lot of love letters to even that in this. Like it's a really easy, quick game.
Cool.
I know zombies are overplayed. This was before zombies are cool.
But zombie hipster over
yeah.
here.
Oh,
Right?
I will stake that flag. I have proof. I will hipster. I got my plaid. I've got my trimmed mustache. I don't. But I'll pretend I've got one
Well,
under
no,
here.
we absolutely believe you because there's no way for us to
Yeah,
confirm or
yeah, you
deny
can't
it.
just prove it. I've got my craft beer in here that they only sold one of. I went to a concert in the woods that you only know about if you follow clues, but it's
You
nothing.
rode your one wheel.
My
there?
one wheeler, yeah.
my
My
gosh.
handlebar got caught in it, but whatever. Anyways, so that is one that really started me. That got me to go, oh, there can be stories in games. There can be more to it than did I win or did I lose.
Mm-hmm.
Star Realms is a card game. There's also I can't remember the Hero Realm, which has like different ways to play. But Star Realms is a spaceship building game. The art's wonderful. They've got all sorts of expansions, and it's just really quick. It's a deck building game. It's cheap. I think most even like local hobbyist stores would probably have it. I think you could set yourself up for under $15. 20,
that's
20 to
cool.
15. You
That
can
is
get a couple,
affordable.
yeah, and that's only if you want to like get like a lot. Like a
Right.
2-player one is maybe $10-12. Deck building, super fun, really rules light. Like I've taken some of the like the more complex things out because again I play with students a lot. But it's just good, quick fun. The art is there. Going back, my wife and I, we even just like King's Court and Othello. I mean, those are just like more just basic board games, but they're a blast. They're a hoot.
Yeah.
King of Tokyo is a real big hit with the kids.
I have played that one.
Yes, it's
It's been a while, but I've played that one.
one of those ones that sits on my shelf and I love it when I get it
Yeah.
out, but it's not one that I remember to always grab off of the shelf.
Right.
But I love it every time I play it. It's really, really fun.
Have you played? Is it Small World that we have?
Yeah, we have small
No,
world.
but I've seen it. I have come close. There's one similar in style to
Okay.
Small World. Dice City.
Okay.
Setup's a pain in the butt. Like it is the one thing that stops that game from getting onto the table. But Dice City's a super fun like management game and but similar in that kind of cutesy style.
It's confusing. Like I remember we tried playing it, just you and me, and we were reading the instructions, and we were like, "What now?" Like I
Right.
played it before,
Yeah.
but it had been a few years from us playing it to us buying it and remembering how to play it.
Yeah, getting like that's key for me because like I'm not like I spend all my money and I'm a bit of a snob. I'm like I'm not gonna get that one. I can see it. So And I don't always hop on a lot of the trends and this and that, but like I have my niche requirements that I usually do, and one of the things is either quick setup if I can, and this one is one of those where I wish it would go faster because it's one of those things that keeps board games off the table, and then rules explanations. If I can remember 80 to 90% of the rules, and maybe we can fudge through the first game and then go, oh, that's right, we did that wrong, it's fine, and get back to it.
Right.
That's good. But if you have to go, all right, let's check through the rules, or
Right.
this
You guys got a
changed.
manual this thick.
Yeah, and I mean, even with my rule book, that's been something I've tried to do where I think people might get syllabus shock a little bit looking at mine, but most of it is me just stopping people from doing stupid stuff. Like, the game itself is simple, but I have to have a lot of semantics in there for someone who's like, well, technically your card says this.
I will tell you what, so my job is driven by instruction.
Yeah.
It's very important that you have, it's called the TO, it's a technical order, and it is what
Of course,
you
they have
do.
to have a fancy name for their instructions.
Yes,
Can't just call it directions. Gotta
it's-
call
Yeah.
it technical
A
order.
It's a
Technical
technical
order.
order, and it is verbatim. It tells you how to do any step of the job that you need to do. And there's still people who interpret it differently. So we have changes that have to get posted and blah, 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 blah. But it is amazing what somebody can read and how they interpret it. It's unbelievable. And so one of the first time, so I'm a trainer now, so I train people on this material, and it's like I'll go tell them something, and then they do something completely opposite. And it's like, how did you come up with that? But a funny story when I was new is we have these, they're called a cutter, and what happens is when the pin gets pulled, a little tiny explosive cuts the string and it opens up the kit.
Okay.
So that's how the contents fall out and starts a whole chain reaction of cool stuff that saves a person's life. Anyways,
That's not important. Life-saving things, not
Yeah.
important. Let me talk about this other thing.
there's
Minor
two ways.
explosions are cool. Continue.
There's two ways to. There's two things that hold that thing together. It gets tacked on or sewn on with thread, and then there's a little tiny clip that just pops off, and the cutter slides in and out, right? So my boss told me back in the day, he's like, all you need to do is just remove the cutter and check it to make sure it matches the paperwork. So the
Sure.
serial number's correct, it's not expired, blah, blah, blah. And so what I did is I cut the 6 strings that are sewn on and just removed the entire thing. And he came back in and he goes, what did you do? And I said, you said remove the cutter. And he goes, no, the cutter, not the whole thing. Because I cut the whole thing. All I had to do was take the little clip off and it would have been done and put it back. So I had to re-sew that thing back on and attach it. It takes a while because it's like,
Little
anyways,
17-year-old Jerry.
yeah,
Yeah.
little younger me
Aw.
working on it. But
Long
it's-
flowing hair and no common sense.
And so it's just one example of like a
Sure.
way that you lay out what you think are specific instructions and how people can still. I'm pretty sure they mean this.
It is
Yeah.
So
utterly baffling sometimes when I'm like, I don't know why your shoes are off and you're eating mayonnaise, but that's not what the card says. They're like, well, it said may, and maybe it said if, and I'm like,
oh my goodness, there's specific.
the may
There's
is
verbiage where
and-
you may do this or you will do this. We argue over that. Like, no, may means it's optional and will means you will do it. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's unbelievable.
Well, speaking
is.
of games, a game that I have played a lot of, Magic the Gathering.
I've heard of that one.
So very
have you
like
now?
Yeah.
yeah, you have to know like you're talking like May things versus like things that always happen versus whatever and blah blah blah. And there's so much like you're talking about like semantic like
It is.
derivation to figure out whether or not, and like to the point where like if there's two things that are similarly worded, it depends on like which sphere of influence that occupies. You just like have to know it. It's like, oh, this occupies sphere C, so it overrides that because of da 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 da. And it's like you have to just have a college degree in the rules of this game to understand how some of these interactions work.
Well, when it's like, oh, first strike and double strike. If a creature with first strike and double strike goes against something with like death touch, and you're like, I mean, like you know it, but you're still gonna have to double check it every time because you're like, what's that layer? Who dies? When do they die? Does this
Yeah.
spell activate? Can I cancel that? So speaking of Magic, I got hot into Magic early, like end of high school, early college, and went for a while in Innistrad for life, and got my buddies into it, and that was a bad choice because they have spent lots of money into it, and I have slowly like faded out. I
Right.
started up X-Wing for a while, playing X-Wings. Love that game. That's a fun one. And I have recently just been burning all of my Magic cards to send smoke signals to get the Digimon card game to notice to come to English, and it worked. So that's, again, another plug. I'm looking for players. But I do love Magic, but that is so big. And as a board game person, it's so nice to have a cultural touchstone where anybody has had some tangential like relation to Magic at some point,
Right.
where you can say, this is kind of like a red-black move.
Yeah.
You know, or this is like, this role is kind of like a white-blue player thing to do, and people...
I actually get that reference.
I get
do.
it. Yeah, right. You're like, okay, now you say it in that game term, you're like, okay, so it's very controlling, and I have this board state that I can keep, where red-black's like, I'm just going to go nuts and
Right.
just rip it apart. So having other games that are similar has been very good. I've had a couple smart people ask me, you're like, oh, what games are similar to yours? And that's pro question right there.
Yes.
But yeah, it's good to have those things to relate to, because sometimes if you're just reaching like the skirmish game I had mentioned earlier, Magic chess is the best way I can explain it, and it's like even that's not what it is, like, which is why this has been on the back burner, because monsters are way cooler than what I was doing. But yeah, so
I grew up playing simple card games with a deck of cards like Gin. You just keep the cards in your hand and blah blah blah. So the first time I ever saw Magic was, I want to say it was Chris, because I have a very vivid memory of watching Chris and probably Tony play a game. And the coolest part of Magic for me was when you tap the cards.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was cool. I was like, wait, you're using a card in a manner, it stays on the table? Like,
Yeah.
you used it. It doesn't go away. Yeah, it's tapped. You untap it, and the tag. I just thought the fact that you could like continuously build up, and I think that's why Dominion really, I thought was awesome, because it's building. You get to keep the cards, and keep playing with them.
So those
but-
darn coppers.
flooding your deck.
Oh.
Well, then I played with a guy, David, her cousin, who he'll grab coppers and then burn them later on, and then use them to help him out. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, you have to have a witch or something like that. You can spend the
it's
coppers on.
unbelievable. But Phil, who's part of DuluCon, who
Oh
maybe
my
has reached out to you
gosh.
about board games. I mean, he's got shelves that like
There's a
line.
room probably
Oh.
the
It's a
size
beautiful-
of this room, but it's got like a shelf going around like the entirety
Entire
of the
thing.
whole thing, and then it's got bookshelves going down the sides, and like every single thing is
Well,
packed.
shelves are like bowed because there's so many board
Oh,
games on them. But
dang.
I got, when the video store went out of business, I grabbed some of their racks, so it looks like
Oh,
an 80s like
nice.
video store, and I've got most of my
Nice.
stuff displayed up there, but not that much, because again, wife and children.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Ruining
I've
your
got my
life.
little, I've got my game room, and the how I got that was, at least it's not in the rest of the house. I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
We're quarantining it to that
We're
one
quarantining
place.
it to that. Yeah, you bet. But yeah, like you said, where I'm a sucker for game mechanics. Like if I see something neat, like the whole reason I dove into X-Wing was their movement dial.
yeah,
I thought that
absolutely.
was the neatest thing I'd ever seen. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, yeah, I get to spin something and it says
Yeah.
where it goes. Like it's kind of like playing like Cars when you were a kid, but with
Yeah.
rules. Like I love to like gametize everything. Like it helps me just like conceptualize the world in general. Like if I
Right.
can figure out how to like say it in game mechanics, I understand it that much more.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, where it's just that tap. There's something about how a board game is played that
Yeah.
really gets appealing to me.
Oh.
So I'm just dirty
I
for
mean,
those kind
all
of
right,
games.
Let's go. Can we dial it way back down? To
Sure.
the basic mechanics. You got the icebreaker game. The
Like
Marrow-
if you could transform into one animal, what would you transform into? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about like game mechanic games being fun. Like as a kid, you've got the dentist gator game. You've got
Oh, yeah.
Hungry Hippos.
Icebreaker.
You've got
I loved
the
Hungry
icebreaker
Hungry
with the
Hippos.
pick up
the only one of
Cooties?
those you mentioned was Hungry Hippos that I know what you're talking about.
Oh man, those.
Did you ever play Cooties?
Yeah, where you build the cootie.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
girls
yeah.
love that game. Like any
Oh.
Hasbro game is like that icebreaker one.
Oh
yeah.
man, there's so much fun in the barrel of monkeys. You pick the monkeys up with the other monkeys, and Kara's mom always gets us really cool Christmas like stocking stuffers. She got us barrel of monkeys recently, and it is fun to sit and try to see a chain like how wait hacky sack. Somebody will get like reach out and get like a cool save, and it's like, man, that was sick, that was awesome,
Right,
You know,
yeah.
and it's like how you just these basic things that are still core values of gaming are really fun. So like hacky sack and like making the monkey chain and everything, but yeah, it's super fun and something as simple as like I said, watching Chris like tap his cards that made me want to try Magic.
Yeah.
because it was the coolest thing. And then the interactions. But to me, Magic suffers from like power creep. It's gotten to a point where it's like
Yeah, when I started playing, there was like the Gen 1, the original guys were like, oh, power creep, it's not even the same game anymore. Ugh. I was like, whatever, old man, go play with your 17 mana 3/3s then. Right?
Yeah.
And now I've become that old man where it's like, power creep has just wrecked the game.
It has.
I go on tirades about Planeswalkers and what a
No way! So I was just about to say Planeswalkers are what ruined it for me because
Yes!
it's like it made the game I couldn't understand it after
No,
that point.
I hate
couldn't.
them. It's you are now adding in another player to this game, which before, like now, I'm already like having to deal with your dumb stuff, and I'm doing my best to keep this PG as I can.
Yeah.
So the hate
Darrell's
fire,
passionate about this.
because it wrecks it.
It does, it
wrecks
absolutely
and it's like,
wrecks
well,
it.
now I have to decide: do I deal with this guy or do it's a feel bad situation the whole time.
Absolutely.
It's an entire like life points. Like he gets life points out of it.
Yeah,
He gets
it's
abilities out
ridiculous.
of it. Now I have to separate my stuff. It's absolutely asinine to me that that's a fine word, that they put those in there.
Right.
Hate it.
Yes,
Hate it.
absolutely. So what the coolest deck Chris had made was just a simple discard deck, and it would just grind through people's cards. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Like the mechanic was I had learned in like a red style deck, right? Either instant damage or I like big creatures. That was like what I played. And then white was really cool because you could, you had a little bit of protection, or you had these first strike creatures or things like that.
Yeah, really efficient.
So
like,
that was a
Just
step
speedy.
up for the mechanics. I was like, oh, cool, I can do this a little bit more. But when he made the discard deck, I thought that was even cooler because now you're playing outside the box. You're winning by making them get rid of all their cards. I just thought it was the coolest thing. You don't have to deal any damage. You can or you deal damage making them discard.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
And as a little tie-in to it, so I love Magic in the fact that it's like the Harry Potter house or Ninja Turtle. Like you have an identity. Like you're like, maybe I play this, but like I identify as like these colors, or I steer it. And it's that's the brilliance of the game, is that you can feel really personalized to your deck.
Right.
Where you make something that's you. I have a blue-green graveyard use deck. It's a dredge deck, but I don't have a lot of dredge mechanic in it. But the whole thing is like there are these horror monsters that just get bigger with the more creatures you have in your graveyard, and it's like it feels mean. I can pilot that really well, but it can go against somebody who has a control deck, or and that's their play style. Again, Kyle, I called you last time. You blue-white. Control players. Anyways,
nobody likes control players except for control players.
except for control players. It's a perfectly legal way to play. It's in the rules.
Yeah, they don't like playing the game. They like stopping other people from playing the game.
You can't play the game.
So you know what would be fun if you didn't do anything.
Yeah. What if you just don't play the game and I win? So with All Hallows Eve, what I have brought that into it, where all of my monsters that are added in have a different play style. So it can get to those people who are like, I don't really like this like masked, slow, heavy hitter. Something that's just brutish and slow and thuggish, and there's combos in there, but it's a bit more straightforward. So, maybe a little discard and a little tricks. So maybe you do Mischief. He's a bit faster. He's not as strong, but he's got more board control and hand control. Okay, well, maybe that's not your style. I want to see how the board progresses and really bide my time and be smart about it. Well, you're going to play with Noita. She's the sniper. She builds up slow, and then endgame is just like halfway across the map, and like, there's a trick-or-treater.
That sounds like me.
Yeah.
See, already identifying.
See? Right. And then to have other monsters that come in, there's a secret fourth monster that's not in the pack yet. But some of the playtesters have played it. You have to have at least one other monster to play, and I'm working on if that's necessary, because there's times when I'm like, you know what? If you're playing this game, you're usually playing with a couple people anyways. Right. But it uses a discard pile, and I'm a huge fan of using the discard. When the Digimon game comes out, I'm probably going to use purple because they use a discard. Number one fan. There's like four of us.
This podcast not brought to you by Digimon.
Yeah, I was going to say, what we're going to have to just do is when they come out, if you've got enough to like supply Kara and I to play around with you, we'll play Digimon with you.
Have just
We'll set the
adore
table
that.
up, we'll play Digimon with you.
Thank
awesome.
you.
I was going to say, how do you
Thank
play
you.
Digimon?
We'll learn.
Yeah, you'll
Okay.
learn. I'm learning.
We'll learn. Okay.
Gwen says chaperone for the win.
Yeah. So, chaperone. Is that what you're asking? What does chaperone do?
Well, so real quick before you answer that, I just want to say Jim chimed in on like different games and stuff. He says you got to try Oregon Trail board game.
I've been wanting
He
to.
dies to snake bite every time.
It is.
It's
Is
really
it good?
fun.
Oh, it's super easy
Well,
to play.
Chris
and it's
introduced
super
me
fun.
to Cards Against Humanity. We
Yeah.
hadn't even jumped on that
Star Wars
bandwagon until.
Against Humanity.
So he got us
We
the
need to play
Star Wars
Munchkin
version.
too. Munchkin's the whole.
That
Oh,
game
I've
took me
seen
forever
Munchkin.
to like. I did not like Munchkins.
Really?
I have one copy because everyone wants to play Munchkins. I got it last fall. Last fall I
Okay.
played, and I finally clicked for me and go, this is why people like this game.
Yeah. I've got a couple expansions for it too.
Yeah.
I got the zombie expansion
Yeah,
actually.
I have the Pathfinder one. That's the one at home because it was cheap because no one else wanted it. And I was like, sweet, going on the shelf so I can say I've got it, and those people can stop whining about it, and we can play
I've
Munchkins and we
never
got
played
it.
Munchkin.
It's fun. It is. I will revert any negative things I had said about it before. I do enjoy Munchkin.
Villainous is a good game.
Yeah.
Haven't played that one, but I've heard a lot of good things.
It's good. We have that, and then we've
So,
got which expansion do we have?
That's
for that one?
my beef with Villainous. Is it's quick to set up, but it's
Long to play.
it's weird. I don't know. I want to like Villainous more than I do. The tokens are awesome and the concept is cool. Let me put it to you this way. It takes too long to learn every character. Every character has a different objective. So
Okay,
you could
yeah.
literally play the game by yourself technically if you wanted to just learn the character. If you knew how to play all the characters, then it would be fun because you could jump in and then actually switch. But and then that's the same thing is there's two ways to play it you play your objective, but then half of the playtime you are messing up other people's objectives, and it really creates like there's some characters Ursula is almost impossible to play because it's so easy to mess up her objective that like you can play a easy trick on somebody or something and then they can't finish the game. It's tough.
And then, too, you come against a skilled player in that who maybe
Right.
does know and you're a rookie. Another thing with All Hallows Eve, that I have cards and dice for a reason. Some people are not going to like the chance of random. I hate walking into a room with somebody who's mathed out the game and says, I've already won this game. Secret Hitler is one of those games where you can play some wordplay, but one of my friends is so good at math that he knows whether you're lying, even if because I have a silver tongue, baby. I can lie my way anywhere I need to. But this guy, he's like, no, you're wrong because the math is this, and he'll dumb down the math for everybody, and they're like, oh yeah, you're wrong. He's like, it's a legal way to play. It's like, it's boring though. It's at that point, then it's not boring. It's still a fun game, but it's a feel bad moment. You know, 'cause now
it takes one of the core aspects of the game away from it, which does make it less fun.
Right. So, yeah, I know what you mean. Where this is where I have randomness. So like the dice rolls and the cards come up. Like you might really know how to pilot this, this monster around. But if you're the chaperone, you're like, oh, I know my trick or treaters, but maybe one doesn't get there, or you draw a different candy card than you're hoping for. It gives new players a chance to catch up. Like old vets will know, these are my combos, these are the things I'm looking for, these are some good things, but you never know what you're going to roll with the dice. I have one that rolls a D12. You can still roll a 1 and a 12. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So the odds are forever in your favor. But that movie is so pertinent now. Anyways,
A grim foretelling of our current state.
yeah. I'm just gonna go back and cry on break. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to work that into a game because of that. Like, you have so many other things going around. Like, all you have to do is focus on your one guy, know how that one works, and you still have a chance. And you can go against pros and be good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is
really
awesome.
Yeah.
Any other comments you want to grab, Chris?
Gabe just said it's been years since he played board games. Well, get ready to get a lot of suggestions. Actually, so what I want to do now, anybody who's watching that has any questions for Darrell about the game, about the process of him coming up with it, how it works, I do want to hear about the chaperone character in a moment here. But if anybody has any questions, write them in while you guys are formulating your questions. I think that we should go ahead and do some Star Wars leaks real quick.
All right. Did you watch The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. The new season, October 30th.
Stoked.
So excited.
I am so excited.
Stoked.
It is wonderful.
That was a
wonderful.
silver lining. I want to, while Chris is pulling it up, we watched Mulan, and I was very disappointed.
Yes.
I didn't even give it a try. I'm going to be honest. I just knew
we
going in.
we were on the fence on whether to do the whole. That's a whole nother argument. The whole $30 when you already have a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill, who's just absolutely awesome, he wants to show it to some of the kids and stuff that he works with. So we're like, absolutely, let's get it.
Sure.
So we watched it, and it was just, that's a bummer. Disney needs to stop remaking, do live action remakes.
And this is again an unsubstantiated rumor. Something I've been paying on. Apparently, Disney might be doing a live action Digimon series.
Really?
Which
Interesting.
frightens me. But to head back to the Mandalorian, that saved a lot of the series. It felt so good, and as like a person who really loves props and really loves like
Yes.
nitty gritty details and realistic stuff. The Mandalorian brought back what I think like the original 3
Absolutely.
had
Oh,
that
yeah.
the other ones lost sight of by big CGI special effects. And then obviously they're in there still to make things easier, but man, it's a westerning. It's a samurai
Yes.
flick again. Like it is
Yeah.
exactly what Star Wars had been.
Yeah.
And I know I'm probably beating the bush, but like
No, it's awesome. I love it. It's the Beskar steel, the little firefly, like the little fireflies, the going down and meeting the people underground, and the thing that scuffed up stormtrooper armor. There's enough familiarity that gives you the nostalgia, with enough of its own unique story to tell, and the cameos. You know, Bill Burr was in it, and the guy I love, the IT crowd, and
oh,
the
God bless.
guy not the Scottish guy, the other guy. He was the voice of the robot-looking, crazy fly-looking
Roy.
robot. Yeah, Roy. Roy.
Moss,
Moss.
Moss is
Yeah.
the one with the
Yeah, Moss.
yeah.
Oh, he's so funny. Oh man, I love the IT crowd. But anyways,
You
so
want to
just
bonk off? Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
the fun. It was just great. The dark saber was some cool.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
that was-
There's one of those like couch jump up moments where
Yeah.
my wife's like half asleep and she's like, "Why did you move so fast?" I'm like, "It's a dark lightsaber. You don't understand, Emily." They said in the Rogue One they had a little diagram, so
Yeah.
we knew it existed in canon. And she's like, "I don't care."
See,
I love.
Have you watched Rebels?
What's that?
Have you watched the TV show Rebels?
I haven't yet.
cartoon.
I meant to. I haven't gotten
check it
around
out.
to it.
It's also in there as well.
It's in there.
Yeah. Oh, and I
It's-
know.
So-
I
yeah.
knew that it was in there. I have a buddy
and
who's told me all of it.
It's also in Clone Wars.
Yes. For
But
like
live
a couple,
action.
Temporarily.
Yeah, live
was
action
the-
is what. Yeah.
Yeah,
is
like when I saw
crushes
Moff.
I was
Gideon
just buying
Sassy, I
time
was
while you
like,
pulled up Star Wars leaks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let Chris tell
Sorry,
us
I
what's
do your
going
thing.
on.
So, we are a Star Wars podcast. We claim anyway. So occasionally
We were
do have
just
to-
talking about Star
So
Wars.
we do have to
Chris.
talk about Star Wars. I wasn't paying attention.
I can talk about X-Wing all night. That's Star Wars. What we care.
I want to
So,
talk about that too.
What better way to talk about Star Wars than to go and look at unsubstantiated rumors, news, and other leaks on r/Star Wars Leaks. So these are the 5 top posts from the past week on r/Star Wars Leaks. The top thing is from 3 days ago. The Mandalorian starts streaming October 30th. Just basically a Karma Farm post. Jeff Goldblum says he discussed a project with Taika Waititi that has to be secret right now after an interview mentioned The Mandalorian.
He directed the Jawa episode, I believe.
Okay.
Oh.
So if you know his work, that's his work. That was his contribution.
And he's also signed up to do.
He's writing a new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So that is,
Isn't he
I
doing-
loved the Jawa episode. Oh my goodness, with the Mudhorn and the
I know,
you
that
mess
was
with
so
the Mando, you get Force Hando.
Egg.
I thought he was signed. I thought he was doing a TV show too, like a female-led
might
TV
be.
show. I thought I heard.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
John Boyega says, I'm the only cast member whose experience of Star Wars was based on their race. I don't know exactly what the detail or context behind that
I
is,
have
but
heard that some stuff, like John Boyega came out and said some stuff, and that Disney kind of hush-hushed it by throwing out the announcement of The Mandalorian same day kind of thing, which overrode it, and I don't
Okay.
know, it's kind of a hot mess.
interesting. So, like, I guess I can see, because, like, everybody, like, the initial reaction was like, oh, Black Stormtrooper or whatever. Like, some of the people, and not everybody, obviously,
Right.
but... You know, so it's like I can see how that would sort of like taint the experience, like where everybody else's journey through Star Wars is described by what their character does, and he's like, "Oh, you're the guy who was a Black Stormtrooper."
Got it.
There's a picture of the season 2 Mandalorian production crew patch.
Oh,
I want it.
So we'll go work on season 2 of the Mandalorian, and you can have one.
I would love to. If you guys want to hire me, I'll come and help out.
Yeah, I fit in most of the Little Thing costumes,
Ha!
so you let me know.
You can
I
play
was gonna
teenage
say-
angsty Yoda.
Oh, would I ever?
I have said it so many times. I am the same height as a stormtrooper. call me.
Kara and I's dream job is to go be a stormtrooper at Galaxy's Edge.
You're 6'1", I'm 6 feet. Clone troopers were 6 feet, and that's kind of the standard for stormtroopers.
There's a
so.
bloody Ewok, so yeah. Cool. Yeah, have fun in your cool costumes, guys. Great.
Just be a
I mean, I have
death
to play
bear,
Jabba the
death
Hutt,
bears
so don't worry.
Come on, yes, yeah.
If you ever get a
Compliment.
chance to go to Disney World or Disneyland and check out Galaxy's Edge, the
Oh my
Stormtroopers
gosh.
dialogue is the greatest thing to happen to the planet.
No
They
way.
are so on point with the conversations and things that they do. They break character and they'll act. It's awesome. There's a lady in a wheelchair and she was just like telling him to get out of her face. And they went up to her and they surrounded her and they just started really busting her chops. And so she was like throwing it back at her and the guy's like, "Did you just say that to me? Did she just say that to me? Look at this human." And they're amazing. They do such a good job. They really sell
harassed
it.
you when we were down there.
Oh, they like.
How many times did you get stopped? Like 4 times?
Yeah, Kara just wanted to get stopped because she had Stormtrooper ID.
I bought
Yeah.
a stupid stormtrooper ID, and the losers never stopped me. I wanted to be like,
Because
They
one of
probably
ID,
scanned in
yo.
the range and knew.
Yeah.
because she was gonna wait because they'll say, "Let me see some ID" or whatever, and then
now I was
people
gonna
always
grab
like.
my little expandy thing, go,
Yeah.
there it is, and then let it go and let it zip back. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were yelling at me. They're like, "You seem awfully interested in your data pad." You know, that was on my phone. You know, whatever.
And
It's
I was
their
the
fun.
one like doing all the missions and stuff for the rebels and
Yeah.
for the resistance.
They packed so much stuff into it.
Oh my gosh, I could
Um,
live there.
So did you? You probably have. I'll tell the story. I've told it before, but I'll tell it to you. Chris, Kara, and I were all standing in front of an X-wing, and we were nerding out hard. So we were
They
talking
were
about the
comparing
difference.
it.
As one.
Yeah.
Yes,
does,
the
yeah.
engine's difference between the Resistance X-wings and the Rebel X-wings.
And you're comparing it to an F-16 as well.
Yeah, and like the
I
size.
asked how big it was compared to, because I had never stood next to an F-16, but I was standing next to this X-Wing.
Right.
So for comparison's sake, how big is it compared to an X-16?
Right. So we had seen like the actors and stuff walk around, and if you as a patron of Disneyland are walking around and you try to go up to one of these actors, they'll just walk away. That's what they do.
Okay.
So we were standing there and we were just so into what's going on. All three of us, Kara and we're all like looking at this X-Wing, and all of a sudden a shadow comes over my shoulder, and I turn around and it's Chewbacca.
No.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
way.
And it was
Yeah.
so
I'm getting
awesome.
goosebumps right now.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
so
like-
like Chris, Kara, and I, we all look at him, and he goes, "Roo, roo, roo, roo," and he points, and Kara had you a bandolier on.
I had my
Oh.
crossbody, or like my crossbody purse on, so like it looked like, Chewie's bandolier.
So he like
Nice.
pointed at her bandolier, and,
And
he
you were
like
wearing the
roared
Falcon
about that.
T-shirt, the
I was,
I Falcon.
Yep, so
Whatever,
he, like-
Star Wars.
he like gives me a thumbs up. My shirt goes, roars, and then he pats me on the head, and I lost it because
Well,
he's
and he looked at me
7.
and he's like,
Yeah,
does the
Yeah,
whole beard
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Then he looks at Chris and he
Yeah.
like looks at his beard and then he strokes his hair. It was the coolest thing, and
That was worth it right there.
It
just for
was.
that.
It was absolutely worth
All
it.
I need
That's beautiful.
is Galaxy's Edge and Melu Run Juice, and I could be a happy, happy girl.
Non-alcoholic juice there, and then you get to try the blue milk, and then they have the green milk from where Luke's stranded.
And
They
the fuzzy
did an
tauntaun.
unbelievable job.
Awesome.
Yeah, they have a drink that makes your mouth go numb. That was alcoholic.
It's got like a
but-
numbing foam. That's when you
It was
drink it, your lips
amazing.
and
It
I
your-
felt-
actually breathed some in when I went
Yeah,
to
he
try
choked.
it.
Oh,
it like went
yeah.
up my nose. I was like,
That's what Chewie came over for. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a mate.
Yeah.
You're serious. Yeah.
So that was a big long tangent on
Sorry.
Star
Oh,
Wars.
man.
Sorry, but
Can we go back?
Uh,
Please?
we would
Well,
have been there last
2022.
week. Yeah.
So Jeremy Conrad, anybody know who Jeremy Conrad is?
I do, but don't ask me where.
On Twitter, he said, "I've heard Mando season 2 described as mind blowing, and that's not a phrase people use for a season having big problems. Apparently, people have been saying that Mandalorian season 2 has been running into problems, but if it's mind blowing, probably not.
I mean,
Oh, he's a Marvel comic
Okay,
person. Although he just said that Mulan was really good, so now I'm nervous.
Yeah.
But how much do you think they're
Yeah,
paid
right.
to
Yeah,
you say this
absolutely.
is
Yeah.
push that brand?
That's true.
That's so funny. Somebody commented, they're like, "Who is Jeremy Conrad, and why do people give what he says so much credence?" So interesting. Things you learn every day, but he has something to do with Marvel. So
Oh, and then the last thing is Lego Razor Crest renamed due to copyright claim.
yeah, that's so funny. So I can tell you that story. Just we got the Razor Crest light. We're
Literally just built it.
yesterday, and so that video is coming out on Brickable, and soon when
Whenever I get done editing
whenever
it.
Chris gets done. But it was trademarked. The name was trademarked in the United States, but it was not trademarked over in Europe. So a different off-brand company went ahead and trademarked it. So now over in Europe, the Razor Crest is sold over there, the Lego one, or any toys, I would guess, as the Mandalorian Transport Shuttle.
Oh my gosh!
The Mandalorian Bounty Hunter Transport.
The Mandalorian Bounty Hunter Transport
That
Shuttle.
sucks.
Bummer.
So it amazes me that like somebody like Disney can still let
Yeah,
that.
well,
like,
if George Lucas was calling the shots, that would still he
Oh.
wouldn't let that slide.
No, heck no.
We got some comments to get to here. So Brad's watching. Hi, Brad.
Hey, Brad.
That the guy that I asked who he was is a paid opinion.
oh.
So and that what you just said is what I replied. Oh, with like 5 O's. Gabe says, "I can bring you in hot or I can bring you in cold." Is the best Mando quote.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Jim was wondering, are you using minis for your game? And then he has a Digimon question when you're done answering that.
Okay. Yes. Yes, I am using miniatures. Currently, I have 3 being made for monsters. It was just a pool that was too deep for me to dive in. Mimi's husband actually was going to be working on them for me, but I found a guy out in LA who's been doing it for a little bit, so he's working on that. I've made all the little trick-or-treaters because they're little blobular, cute things. So that was within my skill set. But absolutely, figures bring so much to a game. I hesitate to use figures sometimes because I don't like to take away people's imagination from them. I really hate a game that Dungeon Roll. That's another game I absolutely love. Dungeon Roll and Boss Monster is a fun one. But in Dungeon Roll, like you get these character cards you can use, and it's a dice game. Like you don't need anything for it. And the dice themselves evoke a lot of imagery for you. But then you get this character card. It's like, I don't want to be this busty witch or this like.
Speak for yourself.
Right, I mean, so, but like, there's just something that takes me out. Like, I want to like in my head look like me. So, with the skirmish game I had been working on, I wanted to make it very like shapes, abstract shapes. This was a thief, a knight, or like an archer, and leave it at that.
Right.
And like, then you can put yourself so much more into that. But yes, so on this one I am using miniatures because at the end of the day I love minis, and sometimes people buy a game just to paint the minis, so that's
Yeah.
cool too.
He was wondering what they're made out of. Are they plastic or?
Resin. So
Resin?
right now
Okay,
I have a
cool.
resin Elegoo Mars 3D printer. I'm having some plate issues with it right now, so anybody out there who wants to hit me up with some ideas, I've readjusted, I've cleaned. I think it might be my screen on the bottom. I'm working at about half capacity right now, which sucks because
Yeah.
yep, I'm on a deadline and I can't be doing that. But I'm legging forward until some help arrives. But the resin one was an upgrade. My buddy Justy Frickman had a 3D. I can't think of the wire right now term, but it was
PLA.
going good. And I was like, "What's that?"
PLA.
PLA. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. And I was like, "Oh, this is the new way. This is going to be great." And I was able to like paint some of them, make them look nice. And had that been the way we went, I would have been fine with it until I got in with a company and said, "Okay, you can make out of good stuff." Absolutely, such an upgrade doing the resin.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Well, with like the 3D
We literally
printing,
just
you
talked-
leave like little.
With PLA, you get the
Lines.
print lines, but
Yep.
with resin, you don't. You can print, or not nearly as bad.
But if you use ABS, you can use acetone to smooth it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go. ABS is harder to print than PLA. It's not forgiving. But Jim just talked about PLA, literally resin printing last night.
Yeah.
Literally resin printing last night.
Yeah, and then literally last night, like he stopped by to drop off some drinks for us because we couldn't leave because we were in the middle of shooting something.
Oh yeah, I had to scrape right before I came here. I had a print that was going off, and I was like, "Oh, gotta get that before I go, so I can keep it rolling." The thing I really like about it is it's the reverse of the PLA, where like I can print a bunch if everything's working at one time, and it takes just as long as if I print
Right.
one.
Right.
Where it's the opposite. So that's been really nice, and there's just way more high quality. I rarely see if there's a line or anything, and smattering of paint on there if you paint your minis, it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Jim says resin for minis is hands down the best choice. So.
Thank you.
You got to watch. There's a guy just for if you sound very busy, but the Craftsman on YouTube is absolutely
the
awesome.
craftsman.
The craftsman?
The craftsman, not the craftsman.
There's no T.
Oh.
It's just the
Oh.
craftsman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's
He-
hilarious.
He's awesome. He does such a good job, but he's very much into like custom minifig, all that stuff.
His voice is very soothing to listen to.
Yeah,
It's
he's
kinda
awesome.
Black
that's cool,
Magic
that's cool,
Craft.
you know?
He's
Like,
so
just-
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabe says he has a resin Mando statue and it's amazing.
Oh, cool.
Sick. That's
I
awesome.
haven't got to print anything fun out of my printer yet because I'm doing this game 24/7. I'm like, man, a Pokeball would be kind of cool right now.
My
I printed.
favorite thing is The Witcher, the House of Cat.
Oh yeah, yep. I printed The Witcher
Witcher.
right now
Oh.
for Kara.
Because I'm working on
Nice.
series costume.
I'm trying to print
Obviously,
Stormtrooper
it's
armor,
kind of
or-
on hold.
I want to print
but-
Captain Rex from Star Wars.
Oh
but,
my
Yeah.
gosh.
So PLA is fine for the large scale stuff
Yeah,
because it's easy
yeah.
to sand.
Right.
If you're doing it big.
And
but
you've
I
done
printed
series sword for me too.
Yep, it needs to be put
Ooh.
together, and then
Yeah.
a thermal detonator. I love how that turned out.
Yeah.
Adam
With
Savage
sliding
did
pieces and
a
everything.
cool maker's build on it.
Yeah.
Love his channel.
I
I
do
mean,
too. I watch
everybody
every
knows him,
episode.
but like,
Oh.
Hey, you know what's cool about Adam Savage?
This is just a weird tangent.
We were on Force Fest last weekend, which
Yep.
was a big
A
online
Star Wars
virtual Star Wars convention. We were the second to last panel.
Yeah.
The panel after us was Adam Savage.
no
Yeah.
way.
So if he tuned in early, he got to watch us build Legos. So
Well, I
And
mean,
he
we
loves it.
don't
He
know
just
if he
finished
did or
sorting his
didn't,
Legos.
you know?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I
So,
religiously
I
watch
wouldn't be
his stuff.
surprised because he talked about knowing and stuff like that, and he likes Legos.
Yep.
I wouldn't
Oh,
be
yeah.
surprised if he saw, and he probably.
I bet.
Adam Savage could have been watching us last week.
I would bet. And if he then thought you guys were cool and then watched this, hi, thank you.
You can pick up your copy of All Hallows Eve
Yeah.
by contacting Darrell Davey directly on Facebook.
Please, I'd love it.
That,
Huge
honestly, I
fan.
think that's something that he'd be. He loves.
I think
stuff
he'd
like
dig it.
that.
Yeah. It's all handmade. Yeah, dude, he'd
That's
love
the
it.
best part about doing this stuff. Did you ever watch like Futurama at all?
Yes.
love Futurama.
So Phil Lamar is the voice of Conrad
Hermes
Yeah,
Conrad.
Hermes.
Hermes.
We did a Star Wars
Great
every
shaken
day.
Jamaican.
At the beginning of this year, we would make daily Star Wars videos, and we worked our butts off on them, and they just didn't do as well as we were hoping they would. But we did
Yeah.
the Twi'lek that got dropped and eaten by the Rain
Yeah.
Corps.
Ula.
Ula.
Oh.
That is what's her name? I can't.
Femi
think.
Taylor.
Femi Taylor. We did a happy birthday shout out to her on her birthday and made this little video. Just because I sent it to her on Facebook, she replied back to me, watched it, thought it was awesome. She wrote me back, so I've got to talk to her.
Her boyfriend then friend requested me.
Oh.
And then
Kara's breaking galactic hearts over here.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then Phil Lamar, we did one about him because he was he did a Star Wars character, a voice of a Star Wars character. So we did one about him. He wrote back or liked the video. His actual account did. So that was
Wow.
pretty cool. So these little interactions we're having with these people, it's like I've watched so much Futurama and watched so much of these stuff that he's been in.
Yeah.
To just know that he took and watched 30 seconds of something
Yeah.
we made was the coolest thing in the world. I thought the same thing. And when Chris found out Adam Savage was on, he's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure he's on after us?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Where does it say that? Because it didn't."
He's a top 5 all-time favorite
Yeah.
person to me.
Yeah.
Like he's like one of the I love everything he does. I just can't. That's all just the long and short of it.
So what they did for this one is they wanted to finish strong. So that was the most. They came out with the statistics.
I mean, of
that
course
was
it
like,
ended with us, and then
Yeah.
I mean,
that was
Yeah.
the most
we
watched
opened
panel.
for Adam
and-
Savage.
Yeah,
That's
we opened-
really
where
the
did
way
he
you
come
got to
in on the
present
ratings?
it.
They
Yeah.
only said he was the most watched panel.
Oh,
That
okay.
was
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, afterwards there were like 18.2 thousand views.
Sheepers.
I think when we were just sort of checking against others, said we were definitely in the upper echelon.
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely.
Well, and then
the streaming platform wants us to stream
Yeah.
there coming up.
and they want to promote us on there.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
it's
I mean, we
interesting.
did something right.
So swinging back around, so Jim has been asking a bunch of stuff here. Actually, I'm going to check for some new comments, but he does have a Digimon related thing.
Okay, God bless. All right.
We're caught up with comments. He's wondering if you've seen the 6 or 7 part movie or any of the newest season of Digimon. He said they got a few episodes out and then stopped because of Walmart, and it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I watched Try. I will try to keep this as brief as I can so we can, because this is going to be a one-sided conversation here, and I get that. I watched Try. I liked a lot of what they tried to do with it, no pun intended, but visually very pleasing. Some of the story messages in there were really neat. I think they had either been a 3-part thing or they put almost filler arcs in a movie series, which was really bizarre to me.
Classic anime.
Classic anime. You got you had your swimsuit episode that nobody wife or mom's always gonna walk in on. And it's like I watch it for the story, and the school outing. But no, I did enjoy. I probably liked it more than most people. But I had it been abridged or shorter, I think I even enjoyed it more. At first, with the new series that's come out for Digimon, it's fun because they have familiar beats of the original 01 season if you ever watched it.
And classic. I love it. I have it on DVD.
It's wonderful. It was the first anime that I have. Like, I think that's why I've always been so obsessed with Digimon, because I was like, there's a story to this, and then it gets heavy and dark, and they take some serious turns, and you're like, oh, this is nuts. So, anyways, it's not like, got him, Pikachu, and I love I love Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, but up until this newest season of it, it's been for a while. Anyways, back to Digimon. I like a lot of what they're doing in the stakes, and I don't know what the English dub's going to be like, but the stakes seem so much higher. They're like, we could die. Like, they're not like candy coating around the edges. They're like, yeah, these Digimon are out to actually kill us. And like, if we don't succeed in this, like, Tokyo's in a blackout right now, and they like the first few episodes felt very rushed to me. There's part of our War Game, which is a Digimon movie, that just got like half shoved into a weird thing, and it just felt really rushed and unearned, a lot of these like connections and emotions. But now the way that they're going, even though it still seems kind of fast, everything's seeming very earned and very well thought out. I at first was very concerned about the pacing, but I think they're like, we're gonna hit these nostalgic beats, we're gonna set this stuff up, get it out of the way, so then we can really get into the meat. And the way they're handling has been really rad. So
awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my Digimon rant for the night.
No, that's totally cool. I love Digimon.
I like the Jim commented and he got to get a response live. I just think it's cool. I love live.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yep, it's one of my favorite things. So actually, speaking about live, so we've been going for about an hour and a half.
Oh, cheapers.
Wow.
So
we need to fire up, yeah.
We're going to take about 10 minutes. We're going to end the stream. We're going to set up our Lego build setup so we can actually capture everything appropriately. And we're going to do some gameplay of All Hallows Eve. So if you guys want to see a little bit of the mechanics of how it works and then still be able to be like, hey, what's going on with that or whatever, you can have more direct questions for Darrell if you want, but we're gonna shut down for right now for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be right back with the post-show playing some All Hallows Eve. Oh, let's hope this button works. Oh, gosh, of course, gotta manually throw to the outro. What a pain in the butt. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far of the video, you made it to the end of the video. Go ahead and give this a like. It shows you want to see more content like this. Comment down below with anything you want to know about All Hallows Eve, or any questions you have for Darrell, or if you just want to make fun of Jeremy or something. Subscribe if you're not already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time we upload a video or go live. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course,
may the force be with you.